Let's have this case study number 2, diminishing Musharakah service sector. Based on the previous case study that relates to the same type of Musharakah but pertaining to the house purchase. We are now demonstrating the application of diminishing Musharakah to service sector based on the following information, where the total cost of taxi is 200,000 pesos. And the partners involved are as follows: Adam with 50% ownership interest amounting to 100,000 pesos. And Omar also has the same ownership interest, 50% amounting to 100,000 pesos. The payment period is 5 years. The taxi monthly profit is 2,000 pesos. As per the agreement, Adam shares profit every 6 months. And the purchase price percentage payment to Omar, or the acquisition rate, is 5%, payable every 6 months. In other words, Omar's share decreases by 5% every 6 months. Considering that based on the principle of diminishing Musharakah, Adam's share, the objective is to increase Adam's share so that at the end of the contract, Adam acquires full ownership over the taxi. While Omar, the objective is to reduce his share to 0. So we need to determine the purchase price based on this rate, the total number of installments, and the completion of this schedule in order to facilitate the determination of relevant or significant information insofar as diminishing Musharakah service sector is concerned. So the initial step is we are going to determine or calculate the purchase price based on the acquisition rate every 6 months at 5%. So this is simply determined by the total cost of taxi, 200,000 multiplied by the rate of 5%, and that is 10,000 pesos. With respect to the total number of installments, considering that the payment period is 5 years and there is an acquisition of the interest twice a year, and we simply multiply the number of years by 2, and therefore the total number of installments is 10. And that is the reason why, based on this schedule, there are 10 number of installments. So we need to complete the schedule. At the start of the contract, Omar has 50% ownership interest, while Adam has the same ownership interest. In year 1, month 6, we are going to determine the profit payment to Omar. And of course, this varies considering that the ownership interest of Omar decreases by 5% every 6 months. In year 1, month 6, the profit payment to Omar is simply determined by multiplying the taxi monthly profit of 2,000 pesos by 6 months and by the ownership interest of Omar, and that is 50%. Therefore, his share of the profit year 1, month 6 is 6,000. With respect to the purchase price payment to Omar, this is fixed, and we have already determined this amount, and this relates to the 10,000 pesos. And therefore, the total payment to Omar is simply the summation of the profit payment to him and the purchase price payment to Omar, and that is 16,000 pesos. As you can see here, I already set up the formula, and it shows a decrease by 5% relating to Omar's ownership interest as per the agreement, with the corresponding increase by 5% insofar as Adam is concerned. In year 1, month 12, profit payment to Omar varies considering that his ownership interest changes in this particular period, and it is determined by the taxi monthly profit of 2,000 pesos by 6 months and multiplied by his new ownership interest of 45%. And that is 5,400 pesos. The purchase price is 10,000 pesos fixed, and therefore the total profit payment or the total payment to Omar is simply the summation of 5,400 and the 10,000 pesos, and that is 15,400. The ownership interests of the respective partners are automatically calculated as I already set up the formula. And to shorten the completion of the schedule, considering that I already set up the formula here, so we simply copy this range of cells and paste until the last payment. So this is the completion of the schedule. As you can see here that the profit payment to Omar decreases due to the decrease in his ownership interest until the last payment where his ownership interest is reduced to 0, while the ownership interest of Adam is 100%.